guys? Welcome back to a Mother's World podcast. I am Ebony. If you did not know, this podcast is about life, motherhood, and all the things that revolve around motherhood. So, welcome. On this episode, we are going to dive into the conversation of a very controversial conversation to add in regards to do you think that you should meet your child's father or child's mother's significant other or whoever they're dealing with prior to them meeting your child? Do you think that? Do you think that it matters? Do you think that, you should just trust them? What? Let us know what you think. And we'll go ahead and get into the episode. Yeah. We're not doing that. To me, it's like a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer that why would I allow my child to be around someone that I've never met before? Let's just start there. I just don't condone it. I don't condone it. I'm not about to be that parent to condone it. If I'm dating somebody, in the past, I've dated someone who had a child and I was around them, but literally the very next day there was a whole meet and greet. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's common courtesy. I think it's respect. I think it says a lot about the other person who is okay with just being around someone else's child without having any type of conversation. You know what I mean? I think that if there's a situation where you've given the other parent the opportunity to meet the other person and you don't do that, then hey, that's on you. That's on you. But I mean, genuinely, I just feel like it makes sense. I think that it makes all parties involved feel comfortable. I think that it creates a good foundation for the overall situation. And I don't think that someone that you're just casually dating or being physical with counts. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should only be around if it's a committed, serious relationship and you feel that they're going to play a big role in our child's lives. If not, they gotta go. They gotta go. They don't get the privilege. I just kind of feel like people forget that it's a privilege for them to meet your kids. It's a privilege to meet Princess J. It is. You can't just be anybody meeting her. And that's just how I feel about it. You can't do that. Not over here. So, yeah, that's my take on it. And I think that it matters who they are. I think that it matters who they are. Their character and stuff like that. I understand that no, they're not the other parent, but at the end of the day, they are influencing your child, whether you like it or not, whether you understand that or not. They are influencing your child. And if you have this ratchet mess around your kids, after a while, they're going to start looking at that. At the end of the day, your kids watch, whether they're with you full-time, part-time, whatever, they watch how you love, they watch your relationships, they watch your interactions with people, all of that. And that will affect them in a positive or negative way. It's going to affect them, period. So I think that it is important. It's important that you know who your kid is going to be around, And although I feel like sometimes there's things that you don't see when you're in the situation that other people can see. You can say all day, oh, trust me, I'm not gonna have nobody crazy around my kid, da-da-da-da. But it's yeah, but I think that there's things that some people kind of downplay. Cause say if you're in a relationship, whatever, and y'all get into some stuff, whatever, you may forgive them, whatever, but your kid is still there and they're still exposed to all of that. You know what I mean? they're still exposed to it. So you would want to know just like who you're dealing with. Like, oh, this happened because we were fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't dismiss the fact that it happened, you know? Because people are weird. People are really weird out here. And it's like you really have to be careful with who your child is around. Like, I will never allow someone to be around my child and I not have a full-blown conversation with them ever again. Period. I don't care if I've known you in the past. I don't care, like, none of that. I like, just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get not everyone's situation is the same. Like, I really do get that. But just from my own personal experience, I will never let that happen, because what I was worried about, not everything, I'm not gonna say everything because baby, I would be in jail. But there are things that occurred that I was worried about. And I'm just like, wow. You know, like, here it is, this like big ass debate about whether or not, you know, you should meet them or not should meet them. And the baby mom's bitter when the, you know, dad moves on, da, da, da. And I'm just like, no, it's really not the case. I just want to know who my child's going to be around. And me not doing so, I think, like, you know, that's why things were able to happen. And we'll just leave it at that. But that's not happening anymore. Not happening anymore. So yeah, you know, that is just how I feel. I think that you should meet. I think that everyone should just meet. Just create the foundation. There's no one being bitter, like, none of that. There's no one being bitter. There's no one upset. Like, there's nothing to like, there's no anxiousness, like, oh my God, who's, you know, like, who they with, da 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 da, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that there are things that like go on behind closed doors that that other person probably would not tell you. You know what I mean? They probably won't tell you because like they don't want you to be like, oh, you know, my child can't go over there because this happened, da da da. So I feel like there are parents who will literally withhold information so that their kids can still come over regardless of what has transpired, you know? And that's no. Mm-mm. Normally we start this off with some wine, but actually let's get it. We're back. Cheers to good health, good wealth, a great year. This glass is very not the cleanest right now. It's clean, but it has like a lot of spots from the dishwasher. But anyway, yes, cheers to good health, good wealth, staying cute, staying positive, staying motivated, all that. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh my God. What was I saying? I just think that I just believe in blended families. I believe in blended families. And I think that things that are so stereotypical or such a stereotype can be just not that. You know, the typical, I don't want to meet my ex's new girlfriend or my baby daddy's girlfriend or baby mama's boyfriend. I don't want to do that. And you can't be around you can't be around your dad or your mom's significant other. It's just like, why? You know, like, why? It's just such a better situation for everybody. Unless that other person has given you reason, realistically, there's really no reason. You know what I'm saying? There's really no reason why the other person can't be around. You know, I think sometimes maybe it could sting a little bit, yeah. And I think that we should all just be grown about it and acknowledge and recognize that instead of, just gaslighting the situation. Like, no, actually, you don't want them to meet because you're upset that we're not together. That is a completely different reason and a completely different situation from you got like you actually having a reason for not wanting them around. Like if you know stuff about them and you have a genuine concern, absolutely. I have been there. Like there's a genuine concern, then cool. Like, that is what it is. And I think that you should actually verbalize and articulate that instead of, doing the whole drama filled scenario that has been so common. It's just not necessary. So, I definitely think that everyone should meet. I think that everyone should meet. I think everyone should kumbaya. And really, I think everyone should just really like get over it. Like I feel like we're all just grown now. And if we just lay everything out, and I think also what comes into play is if you off jump lie about it and, say if your kid has already been around the other person and, I'm asking about it, but you're lying about it and I have to find out on my own, automatically I'm looking at the other person crazy and I'm looking at you crazy because for one, why are you lying? You're only lying about something. You're only lying if you know that they shouldn't be around or if you're just doing something sneaky. And with that, I think that's very manipulative. So I think that if we're eliminating all of that and we do it right, I think everything is good. Everything's copacetic. And I just feel like the blending of the families would just be so much easier, and as your child gets older they don't feel like they have to like choose. Yeah, so that's my take on that. Another thing that I want to talk about, what's the number 7? I want to talk about this because it's real and we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to act like it doesn't happen, any of that. So let's just get into it. On top of, like meeting the other person, there are people who will speak on your kids based due to the fact of like wherever you are, wherever they are with your child's father, your child's mother, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that is the biggest red flag. And I'm just telling y'all now, if you are with someone who is able to speak on your kids just because they're mad, they need to go. And if your child's mother or child's father finds out about that and they decide to keep the kid away from them, or even you because you're condoning it. So really both of y'all are questionable, but I'm only going to speak on, the other person. Like they have the right to, like God only knows what that other person would do just because they're mad at you to your kids. Like that is just, it's just so disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's really ballsy because me, I'm going to war for my kid. And that's just period. Like there's really nothing more, nothing less like about it. I'm going to war for my kids and most parents are going to war for their kids. So to even play like that is like very ballsy. Very ballsy, I will say. I would definitely take that in consideration because it really is like people think that like that's not possible or it's uncommon. Like I thought the same thing. I really thought that like, you always hear about people like mistreating other kids or that scenario. I feel like every parent has that scenario of like their kids being mistreated or just like something like that. And I feel like until you go through it, it's like you really wouldn't think that it's that common. But there are really people out here who will speak on your kids and like wish very badly on them just because they're upset. Like, what does the kid have to do with you and your problems that you knew that you were going to deal with in the first place? Like, don't bring the kids into it. Like, they can't defend themselves. you know? And then it turns into a bigger situation because it's like, I'm gonna defend them. You know what I'm saying? Like their parent is gonna defend them. And then everyone's looking around like, oh my God, I can't, like, why can't you believe it happened? You came for someone that's defenseless and can't defend themselves. So now we're gonna tap ourselves in. We're gonna tap ourselves in. Like, we're just not playing that. We're not doing that. So if you're someone who doesn't have kids, I would just understand that that is a red flag. Like if you don't, I don't care what the other parent says, you know, like maybe they said, oh, like, you know, we don't really care, you know, like they don't care, like they trust me, da, da, da. I understand that, and I've been in that. But I would still reach out. I feel like I would reach out. I'll reach out and be like, hey, I just want to introduce myself, da, 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 da. I'll be around so-and-so, you know, I'll be around your child. Is there anything that you want to know? Blah, blah, blah. I just feel like it's just such the mature thing to do, like on both ends. I think it's such a mature thing to do. And it just sets the tone. You know, it just sets the tone that like you don't have any ill feelings or anything, like you're not moving weird or anything like that. You know, I think it sets the tone for just greatness. I really do. And I think that a lot of parents who don't have kids don't understand the importance of that, you know? Really. I think that like if it's me, like I would want to put that parent at ease. Like, listen, you have nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Here's my number. Like, nothing, like any of that, you know? Like, it's not it doesn't always have to be this thing. You know, it doesn't have to be this thing. And I feel like sometimes there's the other narrative of, they feel like if they tell them, then they're not going to be able to see their kids. I don't really understand that. I don't understand that because it's like, where are you getting that from? You know, I feel like sometimes it's just projected and it's not real. Like, it's like, who said that? You know? I think that sometimes it's projected as far as like, that's what you would probably do. And maybe you're actually bitter. You know, like maybe you're bitter and your ex hasn't moved on yet. So you haven't even had to like go there, you know, like really think about what that would actually look like. So I think sometimes that is the situation, but I just feel like all of that can be eliminated. It really can. It could just all be eliminated and just a different stereotype. Like it is such a stereotype of the whole situation. I don't want you meeting them. You know what I'm saying? My kid can't go over there, you know, and it's just like big. And I feel like it really does set the tone. I think a lot of times that sets the tone for everything. You know, the whole drama, the whole baby mama, baby daddy drama, and like the bitterness. And like sometimes they're really not bitter. I think that they are maybe resentful for how you carry things, you know? Like if you're carrying, like moving weird and moving shicey, like of course I'm gonna be upset. Like that doesn't make me bitter. That makes me human and having emotions. Is just not receiving or doing well with fuckery. Like that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But you know, that's just how I feel about it. That's just how I feel. Just let me know. What do you guys think? Like, I think that obviously is like a common question. I feel like there's like just so many different scenarios, and I think that there's different viewpoints of it. And I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think that y'all should meet? Do you think that you should meet whoever your kid's gonna be around? Oh, and where they're gonna be, like at a home, like say if they're gonna be like in the other person's home, like at the house, it's like where, like I would want to know that. People live dirty, you know, like you don't know, like especially if you have a young child, you don't know what they're gonna be exposed to. They be put anything in their mouths, like you just have no idea. And you wouldn't have an idea if you're being left in the dark and you have to be in a position where you're guessing, you know, and nothing is being transparent or communicated or anything like that. So not always is it, okay, so first, let me know what you think. Tell me if you think that you should or should not in that whole thing. And then also, not everything is always a issue. It's really just about the principle, you know, or not everyone is trying to tell you what to do. It's like sometimes people really just see things or have gone through things differently. They've experienced certain things to where it's like you probably don't even notice or understand. So it's like just be open. Like, just be open to someone else's perspective and someone else's viewpoint on how a situation is. Like, it's not always wrong and it's not always big combative or problematic or anything. Like, it's really just like, sometimes it's just a conversation that is needed. A conversation can go a long way. It really can. It can go a long way. So that's like my take on that, honestly. No other stuff. Ooh, do you guys watch Ginny and Georgia? Oh, I just drank a piece of the cork, I think. Yikes. Oh no, it's right here. It's right here. Do you guys watch Ginny and Georgia? I want to talk about that maybe. It's a little heavy. I don't know if I can do it. But when Georgia, the mom, oh my God, is Georgia the mom? Georgia's the mom, I believe. Yes, Georgia found out about her daughter's self-harm, and it was just so heavy, but it was I was bawling. Oh, I was bawling because I'm like, oh my God, it's just such a real moment. It's such a real moment, and it was so raw, and like the way that they came together and the way that she was there for her, but also the self-guilt of like missing it. It was so real. It was so real. And I can only imagine, like, as a parent, you know, you miss that. Like, your child is self-harming and you miss it. And, you know, you go about your day to day, like you yell at them a little bit, whatever, like you're disciplining and stuff like that. And it's like, you have no idea what they're going through. Like, you know, like you were doing all that and you didn't even notice that, like, you know, they were going through this. So I feel like there was a lot of like self-guilt and stuff like that. But we'll talk about all of that. So that is it for this episode. Like I said, let me know how you feel about this topic. What would you do? What is your perspective on it? All of that. And if you are not following, if you are not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, but make sure you do that, okay? Bye, guys.